Hi everybody, my name is Jessica and I promised you in the previous tutorial that I was gonna come back with a little bit more bead crochet. If you remember, these are the earrings we made last time, and I told you then that the stripe pattern, so it really doesn't matter in which pattern you pick them up. You can go like 3 different colors, 6 different colors, 2 different colors like I did on this one, but as long as you pick up a steady order like we did here, orange black to orange black, you always get the little stripe pattern in your project. You can't avoid that, but it's nice when you're a beginning bead crochet because you have that safety net, so you know that if you go into an orange, that next bead on your thread needs to be an orange. If you're going into a black, your next bead on your thread needs to be a black. But I was looking at the internet and I found some awesome patterns, but it usually means that your safety net disappears. And like I mentioned before, I'm not an expert, absolutely not, and I mess up with bead crochet, crochet in general actually. So I tried to figure out a way to be able to do like other patterns. Now this is the first one I did, and I just made a bead mix. I made some bead soup, and I used also the size 9/0. I used golden, a shiny brown, a dark metallic brown, I guess, and a matte copper color. And if I, excuse me, show you those beads, for example, I hope you can see this. Let's see if I can get that focused. You see that even though those beads are all size 9/0, there is a slight bead size. There is a difference in the sizing. No, I can't get that to focus, it seems. Let me try it like this then. If you can see that this one is much smaller. Let me get this out of the way a second, maybe it focuses better. This bead is slightly smaller than the other beads, and that shiny brown one has more of a square shape than the rest of them. Then this one is thinner than the golden one, for example. But if you take your project, let me show you that. If you take a look at your project, you see the size difference, but on the other hand, your thread isn't showing because I am using a light thread, so dark beads, light thread, you should be able to see it, but even though there's a size difference in your beads, the thread doesn't show. And I actually really like the color combination. But as I said, I didn't have my safety net here. So what did I do to try to to get that going? Now I tangled up here. I'm gonna get this one out of the way. So I started in the brown one with a 6 bead setup. So like I showed you yesterday, I take 6 beads in the beginning and I leave all my beads at the end. So 6 beads, so I know those beads are my first round. Now when I complete my first round, I slide on another 6 beads. So that way I know that those 6 beads are my second round. And after you complete your first 2 rounds, it's actually quite easy to see where you ended up. Now I have all my wires tangled up here, and I want to show you this. When we bead crochet, I told you that now let me focus first. So we go into our next bead, and it really doesn't want to, yeah, here we go. So we go into our next bead. So we push over our bead, and of course this one is stubborn. So, and as you see, now I'm messing up again. Let me, it's always nice when you catch that on camera, right? And now okay, here we are. So we go in to our next bead underneath our bead, and that bead is lying flat now. We take our next bead on top of it, and we go through our 2 loops. Now when you flatten that bead, you see in your project that all your beads are lying in the same direction. So the one I put up here, now I'm at the dark lilac, or dark purple for that matter. So I go through my 2 loops, and you see that this bead is standing up. This bead is standing up, that bead, that bead. All the beads that I added in the top round are standing up, and from the moment that we flatten them, you can see that you have done your bead. Actually, another tip on see where you ended is, if you take, I hope I can really show you this. You know, I just added this one, and if you take a good look, maybe like this, you can see this bead is standing higher than the next bead I need to go into. I really hope that I can film this right, but if you have your project in front of you, you will see that the last bead that you added is standing higher, so you automatically know that this is the next bead I need to go under. So that's also maybe a tip on remembering where you ended up. Now in this project I started with 8 beads set up, and to how do I say this, to make a little bit of a safety net, I know that I need to have 8 beads on top of here. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So I know I still have the right amount of beads, that I didn't skip a bead or added a bead, or for all that matters. And this might be very interesting in the beginning to remember, because the first 2 rounds are very hard. They are hard when you do a steady pattern, but they're even harder when you try to make it into a random pattern, that you don't have that safety net of going into the color bead that's next on your wire. So I usually count my beads here, that I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I still have the right amount of beads. For looking at which bead I need to go into, I look at which is highest. So that was my last bead, I need to go into the next bead. And yeah, that's actually all there is to it. And yeah, maybe I can tell this also, like attaching clasp. I attached this one. Now I need to be honest, I'm really not satisfied with it. I had these bead caps, and I thought, oh, this is pretty neat, nice and easy. I just need to attach a jump ring and a clasp and it's all done. But there's always a but. How do you attach this part to your beadwork then? Now, to start with, my tube is actually way too thick for this bead cap. I tried to narrow the end down with sewing beads. I don't know if you can see that, but I sewed, here you can see one maybe. I sewed some beads in there to get a more pointy edge, and that you don't see that like if I show you like this, you see that you have those air holes because I can't get my bead cap further. So I sewed in some beads on this other side. That actually solved the air problem. But I just went into my beads with some fire line. I sewed into my beads, and then I sewed right into those holes. But yeah, for those of you who already know my way of beading, I don't like that because my thread is hanging on metal. For an earring I probably could live with it, but for a bracelet I'm just, even though I went through there 3-4 times, I'm not sure if you can see this. You see the wires, so that's my first problem. And I like here you can see the wire over there. So yeah, I'm really not satisfied with that. I need to find a better solution. And when I do, I will let you know. But it all depends on what bead caps you had. Now, I did have other bead caps. Let me see if I can find them. And these are also very thin ones. But this is also not the size for this beadwork. So, but these have a hole in there. So I would need to sew in a head pin or an eye pin or whatever that one can get a stand there. But yeah, I still need to figure that part out. I won't stop until it's satisfying for me. But I hope that these tips and tricks might push you over the edge of starting with some other patterns. And yeah, it's really fun to do. And yeah, you can adjust your other pieces. You can adjust colors and sizes and whatever works or fits in your project. And that's actually all for today that I wanted to share about bead crochet. I'm gonna post a video soon on basics of cubic right angle weave. I have been postponing that one for a very long time because frankly I'm afraid to try film it. I do a lot of cubic right angle weave projects. I really love the stitch, but it's a very hard stitch to get really nice on camera. So yeah, I'm gonna cross my fingers, but at that one I do want to get some basics up because I am working on a big project. Yeah, I don't have it here, it's lying in my other room. We're gonna make some nice projects with cubic right angle weave. So I'm gonna see you soon, and I hope that this was a little bit helpful, and have a nice day. See you later. Bye bye.